Wonderful day to everyone. Welcome to the Complete Sports Updates. This is the show where the latest and trending stories in the world of sports are brought to you. My name is Abib Kuranga, and I have with me James Agberubi. Together, we shall be taking you through the rounds as far as sporting stories in today's episode is concerned. Welcome to the show, James, and how are you doing?
Thank you very much, Abib. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Over the weekend, the Nigerian football was thrown into mourning following the passing of former Super Eagles player and head coach Christian Chukwu. Popularly known as the chairman, Christian Chukwu, who captained Nigeria to its first ever African Cup of Nations title in 1980, was pronounced dead on Saturday. Right here on Complete Sports Update, we shall be taking a look at the man who led Nigeria to a bronze medal finish in the 2004 African Cup of Nations in Tunisia. And we will start with him on this show. So, James, Christian Chukwu, now blessed memory, is undoubtedly a legend in Nigerian football. First with his club career with the Enugu Rangers, where he won 6 league titles, both as a player as well as a manager, as well as leading the Flying Antelopes to their first African Cup Winners' Cup in 1977, the third edition of such a competition. So, what are your thoughts about the man who actually passed on to glory over the weekend?
Well, it's a sad one that we lost to Christian Chukwu. Somebody who's a household name when it comes to Nigerian football, especially when it comes to the African Cup of Nations. The first captain to lift the trophy for Nigeria, played a key role in throughout the tournament. So it's a sad one. He wasn't the only one who passed on. His 1980 teammate too, Charles Bassey too, died the same day. So sad one for Nigerian football. For Christian Chukwu, a lot of people didn't know that he was part of the coaching crew that won the 1985 Under-17 World Cup in China. He was assistant to the late Sebastian Broderick's. So he went on to even coach Kenya too. Coach the Super Eagles to third place finish. He was assistant to Clement Westall for the 1994 World Cup and also 1994 AFCON winning squad. So he has done a lot for Nigeria. So it's a sad one. I think there was a time he fell seriously ill and he got better, but fortunately this time around he couldn't make it. So it's a sad one, and he's joined the likes of Mudashiru Lawal, Best Ogedegbe, the set of that 1980 squad that have passed on. So may their soul continue to rest in peace.
Yes, definitely. May their soul continue to rest in peace. And yes, just like what James said, Christian Chukwu has actually won so many laurels, as well as having so many achievements, not only within the Nigerian shore and also outside the shores of the country. So let's move on to the next one, which is the Under-20 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. Well, initially it was actually, the hosting right was actually with Ivory Coast, but as a result of one major problem to the other, the Cote d'Ivoire actually, they withdraw from hosting the competition, and Egypt was actually pronounced the new host actually in the tournament. And with the draw initially, which involved Egypt, Morocco, as well as South Africa to be in the same group with Nigeria, but now the draw had to be redone right there, and with Nigeria in the same group with Morocco, Kenya, and Tunisia. So, with Nigeria being a 7-time champion in this competition, do you think the Flying Eagles can actually go all the way to win this competition for the first time in a decade?
Well, when it comes to the Under-20 AFCON, you can never rule out the Flying Eagles because they are the most successful team, just like you rightly mentioned. The last time they won the tournament was in 2015 in Senegal under Manu Garba. And when it comes to a tournament like this, because of their record, you cannot rule them out. The last time when they did the draw, they were in a different group: Egypt, South Africa, and Morocco. This time around, the Morocco is still there now. Tunisia and Kenya. So I believe they should be able to fancy their chances because this is the major platform for any of these guys to launch themselves, because I mean, playing at the under-20 AFCON, it's a very big opportunity, because going to the tournament, fine, you might not end up winning it, but the further you go, the chances of you showcasing yourself, because in tournaments like this, you always have scouts from different parts of the world who come around to to watch, and Nigeria have churned out one of the best players. Many of our past heroes, they went through this tournament. Last of us, Okocha, he was part of the Mauritius 1993 squad. Nwankwo was also in that squad. Unfortunately, he didn't see any minutes throughout the campaign for the Flying Eagles, because they crashed out in the group stage. Taribo West too was part of it. Many of these guys, Ahmed Musa too also took part in the 2011 squad. Taiwo Oni was in the 2015 squad. So this is the tournament that we always look forward to, because we always have the opportunity of seeing the next set of people who come in and do well for Nigeria. So for me, I fancy their chances in the group. I'm not rolling out the other teams, because when it comes to tournaments like this, especially the North African, and it's going to be played right here in North Africa, so it's like home for them. So, but I still want to fancy the Flying Eagles because of their pedigree in the competition. I believe they have done enough. Nobody gave them a chance during the Wafu Zone B. They didn't start well, but they went on to win the tournament. So I believe they are good enough to go all the way. To at least I'm tipping them for a semi-final.
Yeah, definitely. Just like what James rightly said right there. Yes, Nigeria are actually among the favorites, but still you would want to rule out the likes of the defending champions in Senegal, as well as Egypt and Morocco and the likes. So we wish the Flying Eagles all the best as far as their quest in winning the Total Energies Under-20 African Cup of Nations in 2025 is concerned. So let's move to the Nigerian Premier Football League. It seems we are now having somewhat of a recurring problem in the league. First, in match day 32, with Shooting Stars being found guilty of fans' trouble at the Lake Salami Stadium against Ikorodu City. They stalemate draw right there. And also, the following week in match day 33, the same thing happened with Nasarawa United being guilty of attacking some officials as well as players of Plateau United in their 3-2 win at their home ground right there. So now, with fans' trouble, going over and over in the league, this seems to be more like a contagious thing. And if the NPFL league board does not do anything, to curb this situation right there, it might lead to something that will be seen as a new norm in the league, which we have actually prayed and do hope that it will never reoccur again. But now we are seeing things like that, and the NPFL has actually defined Shooting Star 5 million naira for the fans' trouble at the Lake Salami Stadium. Now, with the punishment for Nasarawa United, which is 6 million naira in cash, as well as banning this same team from playing their home ground in Lafia and transferring them to Gombe United at the Pantami Stadium. So, do you think these are enough measures to actually take in order to end these fans' trouble, or do you think there are still some measures that should be, employed by this league body in order to curb this situation in the league?
Well, it's unfortunate that we are still in this issue of crowd trouble. We thought it's something that has been put to rest for a while, but for back-to-back league fixtures, this week we heard of Shooting Stars issue against Ikorodu United. Then the following week, the issue between Plateau United and Nasarawa United. We've always heard about fine, banishment, but this thing keeps occurring. I think there was a time they started deducting points, but I think they still need to do more in terms of deducting of points. And I think this issue of fans attacking opposing players, officials, I want to believe that the home team, I want to believe that they know all these people who go about doing all these things. I think by the time they start arresting people like that, handing them to the appropriate authorities, I think this should also go a long way. Because if you go to this, because I don't think we've heard of maybe somebody was arrested. Maybe a person or group of persons were arrested because of attack on opposition officials. So I believe if they start clamping down, because we follow European football, and you keep hearing of instances, maybe a fan ran into the pitch,
Yeah.
and immediately you know that they will track that person down, they give them life ban, and but if we can, have that in our own league, that you go after these guys, and because all these clubs, they can't say they don't know the people who are perpetrating trouble. They know them, but since these people keep getting away with, because they know that at the end of the day, it's the officials, the club that we pay. So that these are not even true fans, because the true fan will not go to that extent to you want to hurt your own club. So, but like I told you in one of our episodes, like I think the issue of, I don't think any of the clubs were deducted points. I think they should still revisit that. If it means deduct like 6 points, when he hits them hard, I think the fans are not who always come to the stadium to cause trouble. They will have to rethink that. If I do this and this is what will happen, I think that should be part of the point. I think that issue of deducting points should be something that they should keep hammering on. It's not enough, because you say you banish them, you fine them, they will pay, and they know that once they get to that other venue, they will still come back to them, and the thing will keep occurring again.
Yeah, definitely. Whether it is keeping the fans in check in terms of points deduction by the league body, and also with prosecution of some of these fans, as well as some other measures. We do hope that the Nigerian Premier Football League governing body will actually come into a conclusion that will benefit not only the club but also the stakeholders of this league generally. So thank you very much, James, for the wonderful and insightful analysis as always on Complete Sports Updates.
Thank you very much.
So viewers, this is where we'll be ending things as far as proceedings in today's episode is concerned. Do take care of yourselves and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.